आपकी उसकी भी झांकी आपको दिखाई। वो मतलब एक पैरेलल वो भी चल रहा है। जब तक यहाँ पे थोड़ा डिले हो रहा था, मैं वहां तक आपको लेके गया था, और वहां देख रहे हैं, वहां पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन हो रहा है। वहां पे धनंजय देशमुख जी और सीताराम पाल जी वहां जुड़े हुए थे। अभी जो है मुनीबा मैम जुड़ चुकी हैं, तो मुनीबा मैम का स्वागत है। ओके, मुनीबा शकील। ओके, मैं ग्रेड से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो उनके बारे में थोड़ा बताएं। राधा जी, प्लीज शेयर।
Just a minute, I'm sharing my screen.
और मुनीबा मैम, आपके पास मे बी हाँ, हाफ एन आवर है आपके पास। 40 मिनट्स में आप कंक्लूड करेंगे।
Okay, I will try my best to
Yeah,
keep it short.
Yeah.
Sir, am I visible and audible?
My screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am, you are visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it is the time to introduce the chairperson of the session, Professor Divya Sharma. Dr. Sharma is PhD in education and has a progressive experience of 18 years in education, training and research. She is a professor at Center of Education, IITE Gandhinagar, and holding the charge of Director, Center of Special Education, IITE, and Head of IQAC. Her core interest areas include weaving curriculum and technology around the latest trends and policy initiatives and embedding it with the core curriculum. She is a skilled trainer in curriculum design and development, technology for pedagogy, psychological testing, etc. She has been striving continuously for innovations in educational institutions through experiments. So, let us introduce the speaker of this session, Dr. Muniba Shakil. She is working as assistant professor in the Department of Psychology, Cosmet University, Islamabad, Lahore campus, Pakistan. She has worked as clinical psychologist, certified instructor of hypnotherapy, certified consultant, hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner. She has published several research papers in the international and national journal of repute. She has also been a part of several international and national seminars, conferences, and workshops on different capacities. She is a member of Pakistan Psychological Association, National Guild of Hypnosis, and Pakistan Association of Clinical Psychologists. Now over to the chairperson of this session, Professor Divya Sharma.
दिव्या शर्मा जी ज्वाइन करेंगी। उनकी जगह पे मैं तब तक सेशन को चेयर कर रहा हूँ। मुनीबा मैम, यू कैन प्रोसीड।
Thank you, sir. And thank you for the introduction. First of all, I'm really sorry. Apologies for the delay. I was having severe connectivity issues as I'm going to talk about the challenges faced by us teachers, post-COVID challenges during our teaching period. So this is one of the challenge faced by us, this, connectivity issues, due to which we suffered a lot. We as well as our students suffered a lot. So I will proceed now. Can I share my slides?
Yeah, ma'am. You can.
Do I have the controls?
Yeah, you have.
Okay, I can share my screen. Let me share my presentation with you all. Yes, here it is. Okay, so I'll be talking about the post-COVID challenges faced by the teaching profession. And I am going teaching in ComSet University Lahore since from 2020 till 2021, almost 2 years since we teachers are teaching and imparting education through digital learning channels. So we all know that since the outbreak of COVID-19, education has been hit very hard, where students, schools, colleges, universities, along with teaching profession has been deeply impacted. There are several factors and several challenges that I'll be talking about and relating my experiences with it. COVID-19 has brought many existing patterns and trends in teaching profession to the surface. We were very used to the traditional teaching methods, face-to-face learning, interaction with students, delivering our conceptual lectures while interacting with them. But in this era, while we are imparting education through virtual classes, we have been unable to keep in touch with our students, to check their knowledge, to assess them effectively. And the teachers specifically belonging to the developing countries like Pakistan and India were very unprepared for this massive shift from traditional to digital and distance learning.
उनकी कनेक्टिविटी कुछ है। Madam, there is a connectivity problem.
मैडम आपका माइक म्यूट है।
Oh yes, am I audible now?
Developing children are also protesting.
यस मैम।
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
apologies again. My sincere apologies for I got disconnected because of unstable, net connection. So I'll start from the point where I was.
मैडम आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा।
मैडम आपके यहाँ बहुत ही पुअर कनेक्टिविटी है।
So am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thank God. Hopefully today I am able to present my topic. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Is the screen visible?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
I have to share it again. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
it's
so I was
visible.
talking about the onset of emergency situation in most countries that mounted the rapid responses by leveraging technology to start homeschooling mechanisms. To cope up with the lost instructional times, we ourselves, got only 2 weeks to prepare ourselves for the instructions for the lectures. We were asked to record our lectures prior to conduction of the virtual classes, and it was a lot of burden on the teachers. 2 weeks is a very short time to get prepared and preparing yourself to impart this digital or distance education to students. And then in the distance education process, asynchronous video conference system was used. We were given option to use one of the three softwares, the Google Meet Classroom, through the Zoom meetings or through MS Teams. And prior to the on using these softwares, and it was a 3-hour training, which I believe was not enough for us to grasp all the concepts, as we were not very familiar with the technologies, and we were not very familiar with these softwares, nor neither our students were familiar with these softwares. So as soon as students also took advantage and started manipulating the teachers and taking advantage of the situation, which was very challenging for us as professionals. As soon as we started controlling our students' behavior, it was already 1 hour past to the class or half hour past to the class, so we were unable to deliver quality lectures to them. So as teaching by using new technologies require a variety of skills most educators are not familiar with. We are still not familiar with the number of softwares that are being used worldwide, and the educators need to be trained on how to use these new devices and how to integrate them into their own implementation. So coming directly to the challenges that we have faced, one essential post-COVID challenge was to determine the standard of teaching before presented it. It was a must for us teachers we had a committee that used to examine our recorded lectures and our slides and prepared material 2 weeks prior to conduction of the lecture. And it was, very challenging for us. Simultaneously, we were conducting lectures, delivering, lectures, giving material to the students. And at the same time, we were preparing our other lectures to be conducted. So it was very time taking, and we had to determine the minimum standards to upload our quality lectures, which were then examined by the administration. And then at least a week prior to conduction of our lecture, we were allowed to go on with our lectures. So, this all the process, it was frustrating at the same time, very time taking at the same time. And there was no limit to our working hours. Usually we professionals work for 8 hours a day. But during this virtual learning, we, worked for more than 8 hours. It would go to 10 hours or 12 hours. We had no idea how much time we were investing in preparing our lecture. to get used to the digital learning system, but we have very elderly professors above 50 plus age, who were not very familiar and very technology friendly, and they were frequently showing resistance in accepting this e-learning system. So usually we were facing difficulty with them because they were not taking their classes on time, and due to different difficulties, the students were also complaining that they are not grasping concepts and they're not able to understand what is going on. So there was difficulty not only at the part of faculty, but the students were also facing difficulties at the same time. The level of capability and virtual literacy differed among faculty members, such that the younger ones were more successful than older professors in using different types of softwares and producing the content. I can share one of my experience with an elderly faculty member that he messaged me that he is not able to convert the MS Word document to PDF, and he is not able to even upload the material on the portal. Our students are being delivered lectures through an online portal. It's called CUI portal. And we used to upload all our recorded video lectures and all our materials, slides, PowerPoint slides through the portal. And many of the elderly teachers were very unfamiliar with the system. It took a lot of time for them to, first learn how to upload the material, how to convert the things. So they used to take images and send it to students, and the students were unable to comprehend it. So being a coordinator of the program, I am the coordinator of psychology program at my university. And I had to deal with all the issues that the faculty is facing. I myself had to invest a lot of time in making them understand and teaching them all these softwares and technologies. So the teachers had to learn some softwares and were forced to experience virtual software as Corona forced them to do so. Many of the elderly faculty members even come in taking virtual lectures, but they had no choice, and they had to learn these new softwares and learn the technology, because by the end of the day, we did not had any other choice rather than taking virtual classes. So after lockdown, when in-person instruction was not possible anymore, teachers were given 2 weeks for self-study and self-learning in order to prepare online learning material. The e-learning gradually began, and the content was uploaded on online portals for quality assurance. Before starting e-learning sessions, teachers and students had doubts. We had serious doubts about the effectiveness of this system, this asynchronous system. We were told to take an online class in which we had to play a recorded lecture for at least 30 minutes. And then we had to utilize the rest 45 minutes or the remaining half hour, 1 hour in discussing the content with the students. So usually the students had a very non-serious attitude. Mostly they were not present in online classes. They had, this perception that we are getting online recorded lectures and we can listen to the lectures anytime. So even we teachers, if we wanted to interact with the students or we wanted to ask any questions just to know that whether they have grasped the concepts or not, or just in order to evaluate them, we were unable to do so. Because these students, if you call out a name just to ask a question, there was no response from student side. So we came to know that the students usually do not attend classes and just join the session, so that we have this confusion that they are attending the classes, although they did not attend their classes and appeared to be present. So we could not get the idea whether we are, delivering a quality lecture, whether our students are getting the idea what we are trying to teach them or not. Before starting e-learning sessions, students and teachers had doubts about the effectiveness. So this was the main reason we had doubts on our own abilities. So one of the main challenge for teachers was the creation of effective interactions with students for maximum learning. Now, I had this experience of having students who used to attend lectures while traveling. there were a number of students who messaged me that, Madam, I am not able to attend your lecture or appear in the quiz or submit my assignments because I'm traveling. Someone has deceased in my family and I have to attend the funeral, or I have an appointment with my doctor and I am going to see him. Therefore, I will not be able to attend my classes. So a lot of students used to do it. And, I was not able to collect my given assignments and quizzes on time, which was again a burden on my side. That I had to check my students' assignments and quizzes on multiple times. I frequently used to change the type of questions because, it's very easy for students to communicate with each other and cheat in quizzes, or, cheat with the assignments, copy their assignments. There was another issue, another challenge that was faced by us teachers, that was plagiarism. Many of the students used to copy down their assignments or solve their quizzes by using Google, by chatting with each other on WhatsApp groups. They used to discuss what they're going to write. They used to discuss the concepts. So, we failed to control these behaviors and ensure that the marks the student is getting are the marks that the student deserves. Low. One challenge was related to lack of students' commitment to attendance. There is a policy of our university that those students who have 80% attendance can sit in their exams. But in online classes, we had no choice than to give them the option that they can listen to the recorded lectures. So there was very few percentage of students who used to attend the online lectures and interact with the teacher or ask questions to elaborate their knowledge. So the commitment to attendance was low, and the professional behavior in virtual classes in comparison to in-person classes was not shown. So they did not show serious behavior towards the teacher. They did not comply. At times it happened when, we used to take classes at Zoom. So there was no option. The teacher had no controls whom to allow and whom not to allow to enter into the class. So there were situations when many of the unconcerned students joined the class and they disrupted the class. So we had to face many of such behaviors on students' part, and we were literally unable to control these behaviors. So it was a big challenge for us to control students' misbehavior in classes, which, used to waste our time, and we only get 30 classes to complete our lectures, and we have to, complete a lot of content. So providing daily updated content to students needed more time than in-person classes. As I said, there was no limit to working hours. We had to continuously work for long hours to provide updated content to the students. We used to upload different videos from YouTube. We used to make our own videos to, make the concepts more and more clear. We used to get connected with our students through different WhatsApp groups, and there was no boundary, no time limit for them to message us. They used to message us late night. They used to message us early morning. So they were not concerned whether when to message the teacher or not. And we as teachers we were forced to reply our students and satisfy their needs, no matter of the time. So moreover, teachers believed that they had to spend more time on students learning via online classes. So, in face-to-face learning, in traditional mode of education, we used to interact with our students in our classes. We used to handle their problems. We used to satisfy them in class. And we had some, limited hours, some defined hours, which in which they used to come to our offices and clear their concepts or talk about their issues or whatsoever. But in online classes, we had no limitation. So there were live course connection problems. The one I had today, I tried my best to get connected or get the internet connection, But I kept on trying for more than 45 minutes, and then I had to ask one of my neighbors to tell me their password and let me use their internet so that I can, take or participate in this conference. So there were live post connection problems, definitely like this. The technology, refused to cooperate with me when I had important pieces of work to do, or I had to take an important class, or whenever I had to conduct a quiz or, take assignments from my students, the net connectivity just got lost. So we had, because of poor connectivity issues, we had problems in uploading the files, uploading the lectures. We had login problems. We had video problems. So these problems may have arise from the devices used by the teachers. We were given internet devices by the university, by the government, but still we were not very well prepared to impart, digital education. Due to coronavirus outbreak, it was no longer possible to take exams and provide assessments as before. This was one of the major challenges faced by us because we were unable to minimize unfair means of cheating. Our students, being younger than us and very well aware of the technology, had several ways to manipulate the teachers. They used to blur their picture while giving exams. We used to give online invigilation duties to control the unfair means of cheating. But still, we were unable to control cheating behaviors of our students, because, they were connected with each other through different WhatsApp group of which we were not definitely a part. And they used to discuss concepts. They used to Google the answers. They used to copy down the answers. I came across many of the events when the student made their friends do their paper, or they discussed their questions with some elderly members of the family. So they muted, they muted themselves while giving their papers. They blurred their pictures, saying that their camera is not working. So, we can only catch them cheating if we have some source of information, or we have some evidence that the student has cheated. So I myself used to get very conscious, because I know the student should get the marks that they deserve. And we were not sure that whether the student is producing the answers or someone else is helping him, or he or she is using unfair means of cheating. So it was a big challenge for us to control the cheating behaviors of students. So online marking of papers, writing comments on the papers, your feedback, checking the quizzes, assignments in soft was also very time taking. Like, if we invest good 30 minutes in checking an assignment, reading an assignment, allocating marks or a paper, it took almost 1 hour in reading the paper in soft, writing our comments, telling the student where he was wrong, what is the correct answer, and it took a lot of time. Secondly, talking about the home environment. Sorry. This is again one of the challenges that we teachers frequently faced. This home environment played a very crucial role in determining the success of our online classes. Because, as I told you that I am the coordinator of BS Psychology program. So I had to go through the recorded lectures of teachers and ensure the quality of their recorded lecture. So at times I used to hear voices of their infants in the background, because many of the teachers were having infants, and by the time of lockdown, the daycare centers were closed and the teachers had no choice then to keep their infants with them and at the same time take virtual classes. So, we used to hear infant noises in the background, and the family of teachers as well had this perception that if, they're sitting at home, it means that they are available 24/7. So, you all must have gone through these experiences that, while taking online classes, some kid would, intervene in the session and start making noises, irritating the parent, or, any family member would intervene, open the door or say something, Or we have witnessed that many of the students' family also intervene during the virtual class, giving them instructions, or siblings coming fighting. Many of the faculty members did not had separate rooms in their homes, as they were living in joint family. So it was very difficult for them to control all the distractions staying at home. Along with having technological problems, it's very hard to control all the noises coming out from the window and all the activities going on in the house. So this home environment was also very challenging for the faculty members. So teacher cannot be able to fully utilize online classes to ensure education continuation if he does not experience the benefits of online classes, and will be highly reluctant to adopt the e-learning mode in times of crisis. I'm talking about future as well, because God forbid, we don't know what we have to see in future as well. So we being teachers, being professionals, should be fully prepared, because in future, if we have to move abruptly to this digital learning system, we should have enough resources to make it successful. But I think if we are facing all these issues, it is very challenging and discouraging for the teachers, the professionals, to continue with their job. We did receive many of these complaints from faculty members saying that they will not be able to take online classes as they don't have enough space at school. They asked us to provide some space, some cabin or a room in university, in our department, so they can easily take online classes. And it was again very challenging for the administration of the university to provide them with such facility, because the university was trying its best to follow the SOPs for COVID, and we were having an unavoidable circumstance as it was lockdown, and we were not able to be mobile or move out of our houses. So we had no way out then to take virtual classes. So challenges with respect to social structure should be explored that can hinder the conduction of successful digital teaching in times of crisis in future as well. So we need to ensure that we do not face any such problems in future if we are forced by unavoidable circumstances to take virtual classes. These students, if I talk about the students' perspective, they had this perception that it's very easy for us teachers to take virtual classes, to make papers, to deliver lectures, or to give them recorded lectures. It's not very time consuming. They had this perception that their teacher should be 24/7 available for them. And they were unaware of the fact that we teachers, we professionals, were also facing some challenges imparting this digital education. So convincing them, considering their issues, ensuring smooth conduction of classes, minimizing cheating behaviors, all these challenges were faced by the faculty. Even we used to accept students' quizzes, assignments, and papers on WhatsApp because they frequently complained having unstable internet connection. And we ourselves know that it's a fact, which was again difficult for us to handle, because keeping in mind which student sent their assignment or quiz through which channels is very difficult. So I email, I used to WhatsApp chat, receive their material through Messenger and through multiple different channels. Again, one more challenge was making a conceptual paper. We were told by our university administration that we have to make an open book paper, but it should be conceptual, and we have to come up with a paper that, at the same time, it's going to be conceptual and difficult for the student to copy the answers from anywhere. But, we tried our miserably failed to control this and come up with papers that minimizes the cheating behavior. We invested a lot of time. It took all almost 1 or 2 days to come up with different, also very challenging for the teachers. So if I talk about the steps to successful e-learning in times of future crisis, as I have discussed, so the faculty members should be trained. This is very important to attain a minimum level of skill in e-learning. There should be teams for technical support and shooting for both students and professors. It is new for most elderly teachers and students. It is better to have experts. We did not had any experts. We ourselves were learning and providing assistance to the elderly faculty members, which was again difficult on our part. So some teams should be, organized and allocated to different faculty members to whom they can seek assistance. So another effective thing in virtual teaching is individual training and development. If both sides receive some training in virtual in our university, and the faculty teaching in virtual campus is very well aware and trained in taking virtual classes and recording lectures. So we have started conducting different training programs for the faculty, which include using different platforms, different software, how to prepare different lecture, different number of skills. And we are preparing ourselves for future crisis as well. God forbid. I pray that it never happens. But we should be prepared for everything. So infrastructural deficits and problems were the major challenges to e-learning. Therefore, the universities, schools, and colleges should ensure minimizing such technological limitations, which again is very difficult on the part of the administration as well. But if it's done, if the infrastructural deficits are controlled, this process can be very smooth. Some systems can be designed through which the exams should be held in person, even with social distancing. So I, as a coordinator, recommended the department to conduct exams in physical mode, because so that we can minimize the means of cheating and other behaviors as well. I personally believe that rather than evaluating the students on the basis of their copied assessments, assignments, quizzes, midterms, terminals, I think we should evaluate the students in online teaching continuously, and we should come up with different modes of evaluating them. So an effective education response required planning to impart education in crisis, and we desperately need this planning. So I'll cut it short and I'll come to the teaching of special needs children. As we generally faced challenges teaching our students in mainstream, the teachers teaching special needs children also faced challenges. So the pandemic significantly reduced support services provided for students with special needs by specialists such as special education teachers. They used to had institutions where they used different techniques. They were equipped with the instruments which they used to help these special needs children. And definitely while sitting at home dealing with the children online, it was impossible for them to use all these aids. They had to separately prepare many digital instruments to help impart education to these students. So students with special needs or disadvantages are under a serious risk, because distant education is the only medium that can meet their education needs. And it's not a proper method to teach children with special needs, as they need face-to-face interaction to understand things and comprehend the teacher's instruction. So in addition to accessibility of distance education, collaboration between families and teachers has also been more important, so that students can benefit from the process during the period. Now, I myself am not a special educator, but I have talked to and gathered these points by talking to my colleagues, who teach children with special needs. And they told me about this challenge that they face. They had to, talk to their parents, the parents of special needs children online. They used to call them, they used to give them feedback and take their feedback. They used to give them instructions on how to deal with their children, because parents were also facing this challenge because they were at home, there was lockdown, and the students were not serious in taking virtual classes. So the parents had to sit with their children, invest their time in making them attend virtual classes and comprehend the instruction of teachers. So, teachers were involved with the parents as well. One-to-one, they used to call parent of each student separately and guide them. So families are, important guides in the development of their children. However, in daily life, families can be very busy with work life and household. So consequently, they may neglect their children's education, which did happen. And many parents were into, ignoring the needs of their special child. And the teacher then had to call the parents and give them counseling regarding this issue. So coming specifically to the challenges, the students watched their lessons on TV, they attended virtual classes, and they were given worksheets by the teachers through WhatsApp group. So, however, most of the parents failed to help their children in their studies. They could not understand what the worksheets were about. And at the same time, their children were also not willing to study at home. So the teachers had to provide support education services and had to call parents of each student to provide assistance and feedback, which was again very time taking. So providing one-to-one online session to each parent and guiding them, teaching them the skills that the teacher has, and now the parent has to implement. So lack of teacher-student parent coordination was one of a big challenge that was faced. Another challenge was inability to adapt to distance education, definitely an insufficient training process. Like us, the special educators were also not well trained to conduct virtual classes and handle these children with special needs. They also did not have computers at home and a stable internet connection or internet access. Plus, they had to deal with the psychosocial problems, as we all are, very well aware that these children with special needs have psychosocial problems as well. So they, simultaneously had to impart the education as well as handle their psychosocial problems as well online. So being away from friends and being unable to socialize was again very irritating for the children as well, as this is a part of their learning. The teachers make them socialize with their friends and their classmates to teach them several concepts. Their sleep patterns were disturbed, being at home 24/7, and they were always sleepy in online classes. They were not paying attention to the lecture. They were bored and they were overwhelmed very easily. So generally, there were a number of challenges faced by the teachers. And in particular, there were a number of challenges faced by the teachers imparting education to special needs children. So this was all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. मुनीबा मैम, आप हिंदी समझेंगे?
जी बिल्कुल, मैं थोड़ी बहुत समझ लूंगी।
ओके ओके ओके। एक्चुअली मैं बीच में आपको कहने वाला था कि थोड़ा हिंदी अगर करेंगे तो मेरे पार्टिसिपेंट्स लोगों को और होगा, बट आप फ्लो में थे तो मैंने इसमें इंटरप्ट नहीं किया। अदरवाइज काफी अच्छा रहा। दिव्या मैम हमारे साथ में जुड़ गई है। तो एक्चुअली आपका सेशन प्रोफेसर दिव्या शर्मा जी चेयर करने वाली थी, तो चेयर कर रही थी। आपका वेट उन्होंने लगभग 20 मिनट किया और फिर उनको काम था तो फिर वो चली गई। अभी हाल में वो जुड़ चुकी है। तो दिव्या मैम आपका
Yeah, I have joined. Yes, and I'm sorry, but I waited for almost half an hour. So
I would like to extend my sincere.
yeah, it is okay. But actually, I was having another engagement, so I could not continue my joining with you. I'm sorry for that. But then session you presented was really good, and it is okay that we do face the technical issues and all those things. So that is something that we need to take care of. So I hope you will technical support the next time.
Yeah, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the session was overall good session, and the feedback from the, if at all there are other participants, they can give their feedback. Are there other participants who can speak?
कोई बोलना चाहेंगे?
Any other participant who would
I'm
want
open
to
to question
comment?
answers if someone have any.
किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन है तो वो प्लीज पूछे, और चेयरपर्सन और स्पीकर दोनों लोग आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि क्वेश्चन पूछिए और इसके बाद आगे का फीडबैक करें। एनीवन? अगर आप करेंगे तो बेहतर रहेगा, एक आध क्वेश्चन अगर आप करेंगे तो। वसीम सर?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ, कोई पूछ रहा है जी।
This is Aloka Guha. May I ask a question?
Ma'am, please, ma'am. You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Madam, your presentation was very nice and very interesting. And don't worry about the connectivity issues. We all have those. I just wanted to know about the situation of inclusive education and the difficulties during COVID.
Yes, please proceed.
That children with disabilities may have fared, which are different from children without disabilities.
Yes, basically because I'm asked to talk in Urdu or Hindi, whatever you'll understand. Basically था ये कि जो special needs children हैं, उनको वैसे भी आपको पता है face to face interaction में भी special educators को काफी difficulty होती है, उनको concept समझाने में, उनको interact करवाने में, या inclusively अगर आप उनको class में handle कर रहे हैं तो आपको 1-to-1 handle करना होता है. So the biggest challenge was that कि यहाँ पे अगर आप virtual classes ले रहे हैं, so it is very time taking अगर आप 1-to-1 सारे students की virtual classes लेंगे. So you had to indulge the students in a group. बात करते हैं children with special needs, तो उन्हें group में handle करना बहुत difficult है. आपको
तो फिर
handle करना ही है.
तो आपने क्या बहुत सारे ड्रॉप आउट्स देखे?
देखिए मैं खुद तो स्पेशल एजुकेटर नहीं हूँ, लेकिन जितना मैंने अपने कोलीग से पूछा है, दे हैड टू इन्वेस्ट मोर टाइम ऑन देम, यानी जितने उनके वर्किंग आवर्स हैं उससे ज्यादा उन्हें इन्वेस्ट करने पड़े. डेफिनेटली फिर टीचर्स की फैमिलीज भी अफेक्ट होती हैं, उनके बच्चे भी कंप्लेन करते हैं, फैमिली मेंबर्स भी कंप्लेन करते हैं. बट इन टाइम्स ऑफ डिफिकल्टी फिर टीचर की कोशिश ये होती है कि वो अपने स्टूडेंट और स्टूडेंट के पेरेंट्स को सेटिस्फाई करें. So this was a big challenge on their part कि उन्हें टाइम भी मैनेज करना है, सारे स्टूडेंट्स के पेरेंट्स को भी सेटिस्फाई करना है, और वो मोड्स भी उन लोगों ने डेवलप किए विद द हेल्प ऑफ देयर डिपार्टमेंट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, कि ऐसी कुछ टेक्निक्स थ्रू ट्रायल एंड एरर डेवलप की जाएं जो ज्यादा से ज्यादा इन बच्चों को हेल्प करें इन लर्निंग. सो ट्रायल एंड एरर चलता रहा, ये लोग ट्राई करते रहे, मिजरेबली फेल भी होते रहे. कुछ इन्होंने बीच में इन पर्सन सेशंस भी रखे, बट इनिशियली ड्यू टू स्ट्रिक्ट लॉकडाउन ये पॉसिबल नहीं था, तो काफी ज्यादा ड्रॉबैक्स रहे और बहुत चैलेंज फेस किया स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स ने. but they tried their best to cope up with the situation.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
थैंक यू आलोका मैम। मैं सबसे पहले सबसे ज्यादा जो थैंक्स अगर कहना चाहूंगा तो आलोका मैम को कहना चाहूंगा कि वो 3 दिन तक लगातार हमारे बीच जुड़ी रही है और सबको उन्होंने थोड़ा थोड़ा रिमार्क सबसे उन्होंने कुछ ना कुछ लेना चाहा है। थैंक यू सो मच मैम। और आपसे इतनी एनर्जी हमको मिल रही है कि आप जो है मतलब रिटायर्ड होकर के भी इतना एंथुसियास्टिक आप दिखा रही हैं, हम लोग को तो कितना दिखाना चाहिए। थैंक यू सो मच मैम। और रिक्वेस्ट है कि समापन तक अगर रहें, वैलिडिटी तक रहें तो अच्छा रहेगा मैम। आलोका मैम,
आपका ज्यादातर प्रेजेंटेशंस बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग थे और आई हैव एंजॉयड मोस्ट ऑफ देम एंड सम ऑफ कोर्स वर एक्सेप्शनल, but by and large the quality of the presentations were very high. So congratulations to you to have been able to bring together so many good speakers who not only know their subjects well, but are able to present them very interestingly.
Thank you, ma'am. Divya ma'am, any remark from you? आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही मैम।
Now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
fine now.
Yeah. And definitely it was a good presentation, and there is only one suggestion from my side for the organizer. If it is possible for you to share a brief overview of the paper the speaker is going to present beforehand to the chairpersons and whoever is chairing the session. So it would be helpful for the chairperson in a situation like this, wherein there is some mismanagement regarding the technical issues. So we would be able to handle it in a better way in such a situation.
Yeah.
So that is from my side, and I hope
We will consider.
over to the organizers for the further work.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Divya ma'am. आपने अपना टाइम निकाला। Thank you so much from the KL Institute and from the GRID Government Institute.
Yeah, may I leave with your permission now?
Yeah, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, and I'm also sorry for exiting at a short notice, but then I'm.
No problem, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Wasim sir.
जी।
आपका कुछ रिमार्क जी।
So first of all, thank you very much, Madam Muniba Shakil, for being kind and accepting our invitation, managing with all ups and downs related to the technology kind of thing. So, Madam Aloka Guha ma'am, are you there?
Yes, I am. Wasim, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am. I'm good, ma'am. কেমন আছেন? ভালো?
ভালো আছি, সবাই ভালো আছে।
Okay, so this is just for Madam Muniba Shakil. Madam Aloka Guha is very senior person working in the field of disability, and India made a law the year 1999. It is National Trust Act. It was a law made by Government of India, and Aloka ma'am was the founder chairperson of this National Trust Act. So this act was for catering needs of 4 disability, that is children with autism, cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, and multiple disability. And Aloka ma'am was instrumental in making this law see light in India. So otherwise, we are grateful actually to Aloka ma'am that apart from the all her this scientific engagement in this program, she had been connected with throughout the program and enlightening us between wherever it is needed. So thank you very much, Aloka ma'am.
You're welcome, Wasim, anytime.
Yeah. Pleasure ma'am, pleasure. So मैं ये चाहता था कि मैडम मुनीबा शकील है?
Yes,
Madam is
sir.
there?
Yes.
Okay. So Aloka madam is rendering her services not only in
Are you
India.
asking
So
about me?
Continue, sir, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So this was just to brief about Aloka ma'am to the speaker, because madam had asked a very genuine question. What kind of situation is there in Pakistan related particularly for children with disability? Because madam is not only rendering her service in India, but largely in Bangladesh. So personally, I know that Bangladesh में मैडम का किस तरह का engagement है और किस तरीके से अपनी services दे रही हैं. बाकी दुनिया के दूसरे अलग मुल्कों में है तो किस तरह का है उसकी मुझे बहुत ज्यादा अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है, बट हाँ बांग्लादेश में मैडम बहुत एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व है और अपनी सर्विसेज दे रही हैं. और शायद यही वजह थी कि वो पाकिस्तान के बारे में भी जानना चाहती थी कि वहाँ डिसेबिलिटी को लेकर करके किस तरह का चैलेंजेस और किस तरह की चुनौतियों का सामना कर रहा है.
I would like to elaborate even more. तो थोड़ा सा मैं और ऐड करूंगी.
या प्लीज मैडम.
यहाँ पे इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन का तो इतना नहीं है, बहुत ही फ्यू हार्डली 1 या 2 इंस्टीट्यूट्स होंगे जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं फॉर इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन. वी हैव सेपरेट इंस्टीट्यूट्स, पूरे डेवलप्ड इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं जहाँ पे सिर्फ एडमिशन मिलता है ये चिल्ड्रन विद स्पेशल नीड्स, ऑटिज्म है, डिफरेंट लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटीज है, जहाँ पे टीचर्स जो है उनको स्पेशली ट्रेन टीचर्स 1-to-1 इन्हें हैंडल करती हैं. तो वही मैकेनिज्म इनका ऑनलाइन टीचिंग में भी था कि ये लोग कोशिश ये कर रहे थे कि हम 1-to-1 इसे हैंडल करें. बट आपको पता है बहुत सारी चीजें जो फेस टू फेस लर्निंग में हो सकती हैं वो ये डिजिटल लर्निंग में पॉसिबल नहीं होती. So because we were short of time and we were given only 2 weeks to prepare ourselves. Suddenly March में लॉकडाउन हुआ और हमें कोई 28 मार्च को कहा गया कि आपने जो है रिवर्ट बैक करना है टू, और बहुत रैपिड जो है वो शिफ्ट था फ्रॉम ट्रेडिशनल लर्निंग मेथड्स टू दिस ऑनलाइन लर्निंग. सो उसमें नई टेक्नोलॉजीज को डेवलप करना वो बहुत मुश्किल था. फिर आप घर से नहीं निकल सकते क्योंकि इतना स्ट्रिक्ट लॉकडाउन है कि आप 1-to-1 पर्सन जो है ना मीटिंग नहीं रख सकते. तो आपको जो कुछ भी करना है वो आपको ऑनलाइन करना है. सो पहले तो इनको खुद बहुत टाइम लगा अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करने के लिए. एंड देन जब आफ्टर अ मंथ कुछ चीजें स्टेबल हुई और खुद को प्रिपेयर किया, सो दे स्टार्टेड कमिंग अप विद डिफरेंट एप्लीकेशंस. क्योंकि हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी से भी एक इंस्टीट्यूट एफिलिएटेड है एंड वी आर एन IT बेस्ड यूनिवर्सिटी. सो काफी नए इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स डिजिटल इन्होंने डिजाइन किए थे टू हेल्प द चिल्ड्रन विद स्पेशल नीड्स. लेकिन वो मेरा यही सजेशन होता है बीइंग अ क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजिस्ट इनको कि इस पे और काम होना चाहिए और जो है वो हमें टेक्नोलॉजी वाइज इस तरह की चीजें अभी डेवलप करने की जरूरत है जो इन बच्चों को हेल्प करे. इससे ज्यादा आई थिंक हमने जो मेन स्ट्रीम स्टूडेंट्स हैं उन पे काम कर लिया है, बट वी आर लैकिंग बिहाइंड इन दिस फील्ड एंड वी नीड टू कम अप विद न्यू इंटरवेंशंस.
Thank you very much for elaborating the real situation of Pakistan related to education and training and rehabilitation of people with disability. मैं चाहूंगा कि मैं आपके साथ आलोका मैडम का ईमेल शेयर करूं so that आपको अगर या आपके बाकी कलीग्स को अगर कुछ स्पेशल नीड से रिलेटेड अगर कुछ जानकारी है या कुछ काम आ सकता है तो आलोका मैडम बहुत एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहती हैं इन सब काम में. और आई एम श्योर जिस तरीके से हिंदुस्तान को अपने विजन से जो यहाँ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी है उनके किस्मत को संवार रही हैं आलोका मैडम. ऑफ कोर्स हमारा जो पड़ोसी मुल्क पाकिस्तान है उसमें भी कुछ इस तरीके से